and welcome to today's video, where I will be ranking all the bosses in Last Day on Earth in a tier list, from the hardest to the easiest. Let's see which boss is the real nightmare of Last Day on Earth. There are 18 bosses in total, and I have included mini bosses like the Weeper and the Ravager. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you want to create your own tier list, I've put a link in the description with images of all the bosses. Head over to tier list maker, and when you are done, feel free to share it on my Discord. All the links are listed below. Alright, let's start off the tier list with the Berserker. The Berserker is a mini boss located in the sewers with only a tiny 500 health. You can just wall trick this guy, but one thing you need to know, his attack speed is actually pretty fast. He will almost always hit you even if you are super skilled with wall trick. I recommend waiting to hit him when he does his stomp attack. Nothing more to say. Definitely a boss in the work in the park category. Easy peasy. Next up is Blight. We are going from one of the easiest bosses in this list immediately to Blight, a boss located in the B2 sector of the port laboratory with 2400 HP. It's fair to say that Blight is considered among the hardest bosses in Last Day on Earth, not only because of his abilities, but also because of the room he is in, filled with laser traps and summoning zombies. Nonetheless, unlike the other bosses on this list, there is a strategy to defeat Blight, and if done correctly, the fight becomes much easier. Basically, what you need to do is avoid getting stunned by his special attack. This is rule number 1. Then, I recommend staying in the top part of the room, where there is the laser traps. This way, you will see and hear the traps appearing. I say this because sometimes, when I'm far away, I actually don't hear the traps until the last minute. Doing this strategy and using AKs or scars to quickly take down the regular zombies will make the fight against Blight much more easier. This is why I'm putting him in the hard category. I don't think Blight deserves to be in Nightmare. This category is for far more stronger and terrifying bosses. The Blind One. What can I say, really? I don't know how many times I have taken down the Blind One. And you too probably, more than me. But for the unaware players, the Blind One is a boss located in the 3rd floor of Bunker Alpha, accessible when activating the hard mode. This boss has 1000 HP with a straightforward set of abilities. Now I don't think I need to explain the best strategy to defeat him. Most players already mastered the Blind One. However, you can watch my video where I explain in a step-by-step guide how to take him down. Check out the annotations cards in the top right. When you have learned the strategy to kill the Blind One, and you have done it many times, the fight becomes a walk in the park. It is for sure a challenging boss for beginners, and also mistakes can happen, but overall I would put the Blind One in mid. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me. Next on our list is the Butcher, a recently added boss in Last Day on Earth, found in the transport hub with 2500 health. The Butcher can be quite challenging to defeat. I would even say that the Butcher is significantly more difficult than the Miner. Initially, you can use the wall trick against the Butcher, but unlike most zombies in Last Day on Earth, the enemies at the transport hub are smarter. They'll go around walls. You will need to constantly move back and forth. Even a split-second delay can allow him to close in. Still, with enough skill, it's possible to successfully wall trick him. The real challenge begins when his health drops below 1000. At that point, the Butcher will immediately run towards one of the turkeys he spawns with and eat it, restoring 400 health. The key strategy is to quickly eliminate the turkeys before he can heal. Once that's done, he'll focus on attacking you again. However, there is another frustrating twist. Once he gets close to you, or even walls or props in the area like the trucks or cars, he'll let out a scream, summoning more turkeys. If you don't deal with them quickly, he'll heal indefinitely, turning the fight into an endless loop. To take him down after 1000 HP, you'll need to keep your distance, avoid all obstacles, and keep running while shooting. Guns like the M16 or AKs are highly effective. Even after numerous attempts, the fight remains difficult, which is why I rank the Butcher as hard. Now we have the first boss of Bunker Bravo on our list. The Cocoon can be found on the 4th floor of Bunker Bravo with 1000 HP. Inside the Cocoon's room, there is a freezing effect that will gradually increase unless you activate the valves. However, if you activate all the valves at once, the furnace will overheat and explode, instantly killing you. I should mention that I did all the boss fights in Bunker Bravo during the seasonal event, which made them 100% easier. However, I'll rank them without considering the event. The combination of freezing and radioactivity makes the Cocoon more challenging, but it's still manageable. With high tier guns like Scars or AKs, you can take it down quickly. However, you will need to monitor the cold closely and activate the valves whenever you see the freezing effect spreading on the floor. Also, avoid the parasites, stay close to the Cocoon and keep shooting until it dies. Overall, I'd say the Cocoon is definitely the easiest boss in Bunker Bravo, which is why I'm putting it in the mid tier. Next is another quick mini boss found in the factory, although it seems that it only spawns when the raider's task is active. The Colonel is a low tier version of a frenzied giant, with only 500 HP, 30 damage per hit, so nothing to worry about. You can easily take him down using the wall trick. A quick and simple mini boss, nothing much to say. The Icebreaker is an optional boss in the port laboratory, located in one of the rooms of Sector B1. It is optional because you don't need to take him down to finish the B1 sector. The Icebreaker has 2000 HP and is quite a challenging boss to kill. First particularity is that you will need to use Genesis weapons to pierce through his armor. Other regular weapons are useless. The fight starts off by the Icebreaker using his stomp attack that does a lot of damage. He will little by little break the ice inside the room, making frozen bloaters spawn. Then, once you bring him down to 1200 HP, he will destroy all the ice in the room and lose the armor he had, making the normal weapons useful again. Once the room is cleared, the Icebreaker becomes faster, chasing you down. Toxic spewers will also crawl in from vents. If you don't take down the toxic spewers quickly, the room will be filled with acid, which will be constantly damaging you. Add to that the Icebreaker attacks, the fight becomes literally a nightmare. The Icebreaker, combined with all the things I mentioned, makes the boss fight a huge challenge. It is definitely up there in difficulty. I think Nightmare is a good spot for it. The Infected Bear is kind of a mini boss. It can be found in one of the caves in the Dead Island, and it has 750 HP. If you are a new player going into this boss fight, you might end up struggling and dying. The Infected Bear does 33 damage per hit and inflicts a bleeding debuff. This combination of damage will quickly drain your own health, and if you aren't paying attention, you will surely die, losing all your inventory. This is why I'm putting the Infected Bear in the easy category rather than the walk in the park. Yes, it is a challenging boss, but not enough to be in mid or hard. The Lurker is another boss that can be found in the Dead Island, having 800 HP. The Lurker has nothing special. You can easily take him down using a katana or a machete. A quick and simple walk in the park. The Miner is the second boss that can be found in the transport hub with 3000 health. Yes, 3000 health. And as I said before, the Miner is way easier than the Butcher because of the fact that you can just wall trick him to the death. You can use a cleaver or machetes if you want to spend your lifetime in LDOE, or Glocks speed up the process. The annoying part is not because of the variety of attacks and abilities he has. Rather, the 3000 health makes it so that you have to be picture perfect in wall trick. If you make one mistake and die, you will have to do it all over again.
Oh shit, here we go again.
I will put the Miner in mid just because you can just wall trick him to death, even considering the small details I mentioned. Necrotic Hybrid is the first boss in the port lab located in the A1 sector. Like the Icebreaker, you can just ignore the Necrotic Hybrid completely, and that's what I did myself every time I clear the lab. Yes, this is actually the first time I killed this boss, and I think I did quite good. I only died once, but I can say for certain the Necrotic Hybrid is a challenging and difficult boss. First, you have his own attacks, which you can easily dodge. Then there is the parasites he throws from his back. These parasites will cover most of the room, and if you happen to stand on the circles, you are likely dead. On top of that, you have the green parasites that come from the vents. When a parasite touches the Necrotic Hybrid, it will trigger an attack that covers all the room, and the damage will lead to your death no matter what armor you have. Except of course if you use a reanimator.
Yeah, boy.
So yeah, this boss has the ability to one-shot you by using many of his abilities, and you can't do anything about it. I guess I'm good enough in this game that I only died one time. Taking all of that in consideration, I would say that the Necrotic Hybrid is a nightmare for beginners and or advanced players. Only the most skilled players will survive this deadly boss. Let's go over these three next bosses quickly. The Ravager can be found in the farm, having 500 HP. He can be easily taken down using cleavers or crowbars. You only need to avoid his speed attack and that's it. However, he can be difficult for new players. I rank him in easy. Then the Weeper. I don't even think she is a boss. What can I say really? One sneak attack with a Skull Crusher and a couple of hits with a crowbar and she is dead. A walk in the park. Lastly, the Witch. A challenging boss for players, but we have done it so many times that now she became easy to defeat. You can just run around the cocoons and that's it. The problem comes with a horde of crawlers. Take them down by using an MGL, but you can easily blow yourself up if you aren't careful, especially if you have a bad phone. It is the luck that will kill you. This is why I'm putting it in the hard category. Alright, next up is Dr. Dread. the boss of the third floor in Bunker Bravo. Dr. Dredd has 1000 HP, and the challenging part about this boss is the zombies that come out of the rooms, especially the riot zombies, which can be a lot annoying. Dr. Dredd will periodically do his scream attack, which will stun you by making you an easier target. In addition, third floor of Bunker Bravo is quite long, so by the time you arrive at the boss room, the radiation will be extremely high, making the level even more hard. All of this together makes Dr. Dredd a nightmare to kill, and if you are unlucky and you die, you better restart the whole floor, because you won't get through the radiation. The last boss on our list that can be located in Bunker Bravo is of course the Liquidator in the second floor. The Liquidator is a straightforward boss fight with no special attacks. Even without the seasonal event, the Liquidator is an easy boss to kill. The second floor is also quick to clear, which can give some extra time before the radiation sets in. This boss is for sure not for beginners, but I can say for certain that it's not a nightmare, so I will put him in hard. Carrion is the boss of Sector A2, and you will have to take him down to advance to the next sectors. Fortunately for us, he is an easy boss to kill if you know the strategy. Carrion has 1250 health. The room is filled with electricity that can do up to 60 damage. You have to avoid the lightnings at all costs. The boss has his hit attack, but also a stomp, which will do massive damage and stun you. When the boss reaches around 950, 650 and 350 health, you will go towards one of the electrical coil and break it. Avoid shooting him in that moment as it will do minimal damage. The strategy is to stay in one of the parts of the room, moving back and forth while avoiding the lightnings and stomp attacks. If you are careful enough, you will have nothing to worry about. I put Carrion in mid. Finally, the ultimate boss of Last Day on Earth, the big one. The big one is the boss of Last Day on Earth. You can find him in various locations, but for us, we are interested in the one we find in the red zones. With 1000 health and 300 armor. Yes, 300 armor, all the weapons in game will do minimal or even zero damage. Trying to kill the big one is the stupidest idea you can have. Running away is your best option. So yeah, the big one is the ultimate boss of Last Day on Earth. A nightmare for players. But wait, isn't the big one supposed to be unkillable? Oh wait, there's one more boss. And that's the final tier list. What do you think? Make sure to share your opinion in the comments down below. And don't forget to make your own tier list. The file containing all the images will be in description. Consider subscribing as only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. Until the next video, watch this one where I discuss the lost bunkers of LDOE. Thanks for watching and bye bye.